Hey everybody, it's Jamie Anderson here with a live stream lesson right here on YouTube. I'm going to talk for just a couple of minutes to get so that everybody has a chance to come on in, just in case you're not right on time. As I have advertised, I will be teaching 4 different finger picking patterns, and 3 for 4/4 time and 1 for 3/4 time. I'm using a handout which I posted yesterday. So if you don't have that handout, you might want to take a minute to go over to my last live video, which I uploaded yesterday. And underneath that video, I have a link to the handout that I'll be using. And I'm going to write out all the finger picking patterns that I'm using today, as well as some songs that you can put in them. So one of the things that's really fun about these live stream lessons is to see where you're all from. I am broadcasting from Ottawa, Canada, and I know that I have viewers from all over the world, mostly the UK, the US, and Canada, but I've also had people tune in from other countries. So tell me where you're from. And after I teach the finger picking lessons, you'll be able to ask questions and I'll be able to answer anything about playing the guitar, ukulele, or mandolin. So I am broadcasting this on my telephone. That's why that's why the quality isn't as good as it is with my usual videos. But I think you'll be able to see and hear okay. And the thing about broadcasting on my phone is that your comments are really tiny and I can't see them that far across the room. So what I'll do is, after I teach the finger picking patterns, I am going to pick up my tablet, which is much bigger, and I'll be able to read your comments. Looks like a few people are coming in. Alan is from, oh my gosh, it just faded away. Alan, you're from the UK, I think. I think you said that you were going to be here, which is pretty cool. And so again, I'm going to talk for just another minute to give you all a chance to pick up the handout if you don't have it already. And top of the afternoon from Central New York. Well, hi, Rich. And I can't remember. Hello from the Netherlands. And I'm sorry, again, the type is too small for me to see right now. Iowa in the United States. All right. Used to play in Iowa every year, haven't for a while. Hi from Denmark. Denmark, very cool. All right, so lots of you are tuned in. I think I'll go ahead and get started, and just know that I'll be leaving the video for this lesson up on my channel. So if things seem to be going too fast, you can always consult that video afterwards and rewind the parts that you need as often as you want to. As I mentioned before, I am using a handout for this. If you don't have the handout, if you take notes, that might be enough for you right now, and then you can click on the link later and get the handout. I will be posting the link underneath this video after I'm done teaching here, so it's not there under this video right now. Hi from Kansas. Hello. So let's first talk about the different ways that you can finger pick, and then I'll show you some different patterns, all right? So one of the ways that you can finger pick is with your bare fingers. So that's what I'm doing here. So what I'm doing is I'm using the pad of my thumb and then the pads of my fingers. And that gives you kind of a nice soft mellow sound. A lot of people like that. It's really nice to be able to feel the strings. You know, sometimes you feel like you have a little more control when you can feel the strings, and that's cool. All right, so I'll be teaching the patterns in just a minute. Right now I'm just teaching you different ways to finger pick. Another way that you can finger pick is with your fingernails. Now, I don't pick with my fingernails because look at these nails. These are really short nails. So if you were to finger pick with your nails, as some people do, you want to grab the strings about the same way you would if you weren't using your nails, but dig in just a little deeper so that you can catch your nail. So when I play with my nails, I play kind of with the side of my thumbnail. And this is going to be very awkward and weird sounding since my nails aren't long enough, but I'm plucking with my nails now instead of, and you can hear that it gives you a clearer sound. I can't get any speed with these short nails. So that's another option. If you've got pretty strong nails, or if they're already long, then playing with your fingernails might be a good choice. I have this joke that, and I think it's true actually, that if you see a group of men standing around talking about their fingernails, chances are they're either one, drag queens, or two, fingerstyle players who use their nails. So I don't know if that's true, but it seems likely, doesn't it? And then the third way that you can fingerpick is with picks. And when I do shows, I use fingerpicks because I like how they sound. It gives you kind of a sharp, clear sound. And so I'm going to put on some fingerpicks here, and I'll give you a close-up in just a second. So what I like about fingerpicks, it gives you a nice, clear sound. I use plastic fingerpicks. They also make them in metal. I don't like the metal ones because they have kind of a clink clink sound that I don't care for, but a lot of people like metal fingerpicks. I've seen a lot of fingerstyle blues players use fingerpicks, banjo players use metal fingerpicks. So these are plastic. So here's a close-up of my thumb pick. So the flat end goes on the inside. You want a pretty firm fit, but not so firm that you lose circulation. Okay, so here is one of my finger picks. So that's what it looks like. Now, this may seem counterintuitive to put them on this way. A lot of people want to try to do this because you think, oh, I'm plucking them. But what happens is they move around a whole lot. So this is how you want to wear them. And then I've got two others here. Most people do not use their pinky fingers for finger picking, so I don't. So that's why I've only got them on these fingers. So again, this is what it sounds like with picks. If you've never used picks before, I highly recommend just like wearing them around the house. Your wife, your husband, or your roommates will think that you've lost your mind, but what it does is it gets you used to having them on your fingers. The thing I don't like about these plastic finger picks is that they're hard to adjust. So if you don't buy them in the right size to begin with, then you'll have a heck of a time getting them to fit. And I have to just do a little complaint here. As a woman with smaller hands, I am over music store employees trying to tell me to buy the finger picks that are too big and boil them and soften them up and then shape them to my fingers. No, I just want them to fit when I put them on. I don't think that's too much to ask. So, all right. There, I'll get off my soapbox. I'm done now. Some people like just using a thumb pick. And what that does is it emphasizes the bass note. And oftentimes the bass note is the tonic of the chord, and that'll give you a stronger sounding chord. For instance, the tonic of the G chord is this top string. That's a G note. And you can hear it just a little stronger. And it's nice if you're doing walk downs. You can hear them a little better. Now in the handout I mentioned black mountain picks. Black mountain picks are a hybrid of a flat pick and a thumb pick. I don't have one right here to show you, but you can finger pick using those too. So there you go. There's different methods, your bare fingers, fingernails, or you can use a combination of picks. All right, so first some terminology before I get into the picking patterns. Oh, and in case you tune in a little late, what I'm doing is I'm just doing an overview first. Then I'm going to show you the finger picking patterns. I'll show you some of the songs that it fits in. And then after I'm done with the finger picking lesson, I'll be opening it up to your questions. And you can ask me any question you have about playing the guitar, the mandolin, or the ukulele. And I can't see all the words that you're flashing across my screen right now because they're too tiny. My phone is across the room. But after I'm done teaching the finger picking, I'll pick up my tablet that I can read, and I'll be able to read your questions and answer them. So first, some terminology. When I'm calling out the number of the strings, I'm counting from the bottom. So when I say the first string, I mean this bottom one here. Second string is the next one, third, fourth, fifth, and then sixth. Although I'll rarely say the sixth string. Usually I will say bass because the bass note of each finger picking pattern changes according to the chord that you're using. So if you're playing a G, the bass note is the top string. If you're playing a C, the bass is the fifth string. If it's D, the bass is the fourth string. Another example is an E would be the top string. 4 string F would be the 4th string. And an A would be the 5th string. If you're not sure which note is the bass note, sometimes you can hear it. So for instance, if I was playing an A and I was using the top string as the bass note instead, listen to this. It sounds kind of weird because you're putting an E bass on an A chord. So then you can move it down to the 5th string because you might think, oh, well, that sounds a little better. Another way to know what bass note to hit is to know the notes on the strings. So open, it's E, A, D, G, B, E. And then of course that changes when you're pressing down on the string. I have a lesson about that, and I'll post it underneath after I teach this lesson. So let's get right into some finger picking here, okay? So I'm going to show you this pattern on a G chord. And then once I show you in a G chord, I'm going to try to get a little closer to the camera so that you can see a close-up of my picking hand. So on the G chord, the bass note is going to be the top string. So for this first pattern I'm teaching you, I'll be playing bass, 3, 2, 1. So what I'm doing is I'm assigning my thumb for the bass notes, and that would be the 6th, 5th, or 4th string, depending on the chord. And the index finger is going to be on the 3rd string. The next finger is going to be on the 2nd string, and the 3rd finger is going to be on the 1st string. So again, here's the pattern. I'll play it slowly. Bass, 3, 2, 1. Bass, 3, 2, 1. Can you play that with me? Bass, 3, 2, 1. Bass, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let me see if I can get close to the camera. So fancy here. Okay, so here's a close-up. Bass, 3, 2, 1. Bass, 3, 2, 1. I'm still on a G chord. See if you can speed that up. Bass, 3, 2, 1. And if you can really speed it up, it sounds pretty cool. So see how I'm using those assigned fingers for each of those strings? The bass note, thumb, first string, the first finger, 3rd string, 2nd string, bottom string. I am not using my little finger. Okay, so I'm going to scoot back because otherwise you get a close-up of my neck. So once you get a little more comfortable with this picking pattern on one chord, see if you can change it back and forth between 2 different chords. So I'm going to choose G and C. There we go. So, and if you do that pattern 2 times through, that's going to be 1 measure. So I'm going to do 1 measure of each chord. See if you can play that with me. Ready, and bass, 3, 2, 1. Bass, 3, 2, 1. Change. Bass, 3, 2, 1. Now the bass is the 5th string. Back to the G. Back to the G. I'm doing 1 measure of each. And C. Okay, let's see if we can speed that up. Ready, and G, C, G, C, G, C. And if you're feeling really adventuresome, add another chord. So now I'm going to play G, C, and D, 1 measure each. Now, if this feels like it's going too fast for you, don't worry. I'll leave the video up on my channel and you can go back to it later. Sometimes it's better to practice outside of the lesson just to get your fingers used to that pattern. So here we go. G, C, and D. Ready, and bass, 3, 2, 1. Bass, 3, 2, 1. C. D. fourth string and back to the G. C, D, G. All right, so this song is really great for, this picking pattern is great for, what songs here? Almost anything in 4/4. Leaving on a jet plane. All my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye. See how nicely that fits with that one? And it works for lots of other songs. It would work for The Boxer, Blowing in the Wind, Where Have All the Flowers Gone, just tons of songs. If you're not sure, just try to plug it in and see if it works. All right, so the second picking pattern I'm going to show you is a Travis pick. And a Travis pick you'll hear in a lot of folk music. Gordon Lightfoot uses it a whole lot. You'll hear it in The Boxer, Dust in the Wind, a lot of popular songs. Now, this particular picking pattern is not really associated with plucking certain numbers and certain number strings. It's more about the rhythm. So I'm going to show you one of the patterns that I use for Travis pick, and then I'll talk a little bit about the rhythm. Oh, before I forgot to give you the rhythm for the last one that I was doing. I know that some of you are interested in that. So the rhythm for this is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's how I know that's 4 beats per measure. So let's go back to the Travis picks here. So the Travis pick, you're going to start off by plucking 2 strings at once. So I'm plucking the second string, and remember I'm counting from the bottom, and the bass note. So that's the first part of it. And then I'm playing 4, 3, 5, 2, 4, 3. I'll slow that down. Bass 2 at once. Then 4, 3, 5, 2, 4, 3. Now I know those are a lot of numbers. If you're taking notes, write those down. So bass 2 at once, then 4, 3, 5, 2, 4, 3. Okay? And again, I have a handout for all of this, and I'll put the link underneath this after I'm teaching the lesson, and you'll be able to get your own handout. So here we go. Just play it with me on a G chord. Bass and 2 at the same time, and then the rest of them. So it's bass 2, 4, 3, 5, 2, 4, 3, bass 2, 4, 3, 5, 2, 4, 3, bass 2, whoops, 4, 3, 5, 2, 4, 3, bass 2. Again, if you're not hitting the exact same strings that I am, that's okay, as long as you're getting the rhythm. Here's the rhythm. So I'm no longer calling out the string numbers. Here's the rhythm. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So that first pluck is 1 beat, and all the rest are half beats. So if you speed it up, it sounds like this. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So again, practice it on 1 chord, and then once you feel comfortable with that, then practice it with 2 different chords. So G, and then go to the C. And G, and C. All right, so let me scoot up a little close so that you can see my right hand, or for your you lefties, it's what your left hand is doing. So let's see, I think I'm close enough. There we go. Okay, so I'm on a G chord. Here we go. I slip and I pick something different, but that's all right. I've still got that rhythm. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, so let me scoot back so that you don't stare at my neck. And I see that some of you have some questions. I'll answer the questions after I finish this lesson because the type is too small on the phone where I'm broadcasting, and I've got to pick up another device to read your comments and questions. So the Travis pick works really well for a lot of songs in 4/4, and it's great on the boxer. And by the way, I'm not teaching any of these songs here in this live lesson, but these are all songs that I have a lesson video for at my channel. And after I'm done teaching here, I'll be posting the links to all the songs so that you can try them out on your own. So this one's good for the boxer. I am just a poor boy, though my story's seldom told. I have squandered my resistance for a pocket full of mumbles, such are promises. All lies and jest, still a man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. All right, so I played that a little on the slow side. I think Paul Simon is more like, I am just a poor boy, though my story's seldom told. And for those of you just learning the Travis pick, you're like, really, Jamie? So, as it is with all things guitar, start out playing really slow. When you have it played accurately at a slow speed, then you can gradually speed it up. That will make you a much better player than if you try to play it too fast at first, because then you'll make mistakes and your fingers will remember those mistakes. It's better if you play it slow and then slowly ramp up to the speed that you want to be at. So the next finger picking pattern that I want to teach you is this one. And this one is a little more complicated than the first one that I taught. Again, I'll demonstrate on a G chord and then I'll scoot up a little closer so that you can see my hands. So it's B, bass. So you'll notice in the handout I have B for bass. So here we go. So it's bass, 3, 2, whoops, I did that wrong. So it's bass, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to slow that down. Bass, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3. So try that with me on a G chord. Ready, and bass, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3. Bass, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3. These are all half beats. So to speed it up, it would be. So the count is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let me scoot up a little closer here and you can see my hands. I'm going to stay on a G chord. So bass, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3. Bass, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3. Keep going. So let's try to speed that up a little. Still on the G chord. Ready, and. This song works great for a lot of songs. This picking pattern works great for a lot of songs. I need more coffee. Now, the first picking pattern that I showed you, I demonstrated on Leaving on a Jet Plane. It works. This picking pattern works on that song too. All my bags are packed. I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye. So just like these other finger picking patterns, once you master it with one chord, then try it with two different chords played back and forth, and then slip in another chord and see how that works. And then try it with a bunch of different songs. I do teach Leaving on a Jet Plane in a separate lesson. I'll put a link underneath this video, but I teach it with another picking pattern. But at the very least, you'll have access to the words and the chords, and that will help. So the fourth picking pattern that I'm going to show you, and like I've said before, you know, if this is going too fast, you can look at the tape later because I'll leave the video up. So, oh, thank you, a super fan. I really appreciate it. Little Miss Shine Brightly. Really appreciate that. So yeah, any super fan comments or tips that you want to leave me, that's great. I also put a link to where you can leave some tips, and that is much appreciated. I make my living teaching music and performing music. So anyway, but this is free. You know, if you don't have the dough to pay for it, that's cool. I'm glad you're here. So the last picking pattern that I want to show you is one for 3/4 time. And again, I'm going to demonstrate on a G chord because it's kind of a handy chord. And so what I'm playing is bass, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Bass, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Bass, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Hey, I could actually read one of your comments. Like I said earlier, I'm broadcasting on my phone and the type is so tiny I can't see across the room. But somebody asked if this was going to be uploaded to my YouTube channel, and yes, it will. So, you know, if you're not catching everything that I'm teaching live, that's cool. You'll be able to refer to the video because I'll be posting it to my YouTube channel. So anyway, so here is that picking pattern. So it's bass, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Bass, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Still on the G chord. So I'm continuing to use the same fingering that I used before. The thumb is only doing the bass notes, which is the 6th, 5th, or 4th string. The index finger is the 3rd string from the bottom. The next finger is the 2nd string from the bottom. And the 3rd finger is the bottom string. So again, bass, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, bass, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, bass, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. See if you can speed that up a little. So the count is 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So let me scoot up a little closer so that you can see what my picking hand is doing. All right, so I'm going to stay on the G chord. So bass, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. So when you do these picking patterns, don't dig in too deep. See if you can speed it up. Bass, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. There you go. All right, so let me scoot back. Whoops, I'm catching the rug here. All right, so that one's in 3/4 time. It works really great for Amazing Grace. So I'll show you that. And I do teach this song on my channel. I'll put a link underneath this video after I post this video. And by the way, I often say in my videos, I'll post a link to something underneath the video. And some of you are confused by that. Just so that it's clear, if you look under my name, there's a little link that says show more. Click on show more, and that's where you'll see a whole bunch of links to words and chords, to related videos, and all kinds of groovy stuff. So here we go, Amazing Grace with that picking pattern. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now that picking pattern works for that song. It also works great for Silent Night, for House of the Rising Sun, and all kinds of great songs. I do teach Amazing Grace elsewhere on my channel, and I'll put a link to that underneath here when I get a chance. So I'm going to pull out my tablet here, and because the tablet is big enough so that I can see your questions. I wish I could broadcast on it too, but I can't. So I'm going to see what you've been asking me, and let's see. All right. Whoops, I forgot to turn off the sound. So someone is asking, Shawkat says, I live outside USA. How can I contribute? That PayPal link should work. And so does the coffee link if you want to contribute. And of course, all the super chat donations work too. Little Miss Shine Brightly, it's so awesome that you can do this. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. I enjoy teaching. So Tom Johnson says, yay. Well, I'll say yay back. And Kamala says, hi. Ilana, thank you so much. Do practicing scales improve your finger picking playing ability? It's really two different skills, actually, but you can combine them. So if you wanted to play a scale, let's see, what's a good scale? So there's a blues scale, and you know, it really is two different things. I mean, learning scales is really good for ear training. It's really good for maintaining flexibility. But I think it's really two different skills. So I'm just going to answer that with no. But learning scales is a good thing to do. And I do teach a blues scale in one of my other videos, if you want to look that up. Tom wants to know, can you do Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis Presley? My memory's terrible, so unless the song is right in front of me, I can't play it. I've had requests to teach that one in a lesson, so maybe one of these days I'll be able to teach that one in a lesson. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing this right. Lionel says, thank you from Philippines. Wow, Philippines, that's cool. Sweet Country Living is in Michigan. So glad to catch this today. Well, I'm so glad that you're here. Steph is also here from the Philippines. Wow, that's cool. I didn't realize I had so many viewers from the Philippines. Lionel says, one of your tutorials helped me a lot as a beginner since January. Thank you. Well, you're very welcome. I do have a lot of videos geared towards beginners at my channel. And part of the reason for that is that I taught myself to play when I was a teenager, and I remember what it was like to play. I remember the frustration, and I remember what I did to become a better player. And I think that that knowledge can help in my teaching. I do have videos for intermediate players also on my YouTube channel, should you get that far or if you're already there. Margaret says, you're an answer to a prayer. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. All natural music fan, thank you for this. Do you have any tips for learning to recognize notes by ear? I don't have any lessons that speak specifically to ear training, but I do have one about singing. And I do touch on being able to hear and be able to sing certain notes. I have a video about recognizing the notes on the fretboard, and so that may help too. I'll try to remember to post the links to all that stuff underneath this video so that you'll be able to find it. Know that there's a search function also at my YouTube channel. So if you go to the little magnifying glass symbol, it depends on what kind of device you're using as to where it is, but it's usually sort of at the top of where my videos are listed. If you click on that, then you can click in a whole bunch of different search terms. So if you're looking for something in particular, sometimes you can find it that way. Tom says amen. Okay. Donna, when picking guitar, do you start singing on bass note or second string you pluck? Well, Donna, it depends on the song. Some of the songs have a few pickup notes, which means they happen outside of the first measure. So I'll give you an example. So on Amazing Grace has some pickup notes. You start singing Amazing Grace. So you don't start singing until you pluck that bass note. Amazing Grace. Leaving on a Jet Plane also has a pickup note. So all my bags are packed. So I don't start playing until I get to bags. However, if you want to add an extra measure before the song, so if you want to play bass 3 2 1, bass 3 2 1 at the top, and then add one more measure, then that'll take care of the pickup notes. I'll demonstrate. All my bags are packed. So you'll see that I started singing about halfway through that second pattern. So it really depends on the song. If you're not sure, and it's a song that I teach on my channel, you can find that lesson and you can see when I start singing. Lorraine says, thank you very much. Well, you're very welcome. F Stats, I love your tutorials. Could you do a tutorial how to play If Tomorrow Never Comes from Garth Brooks? I love Garth Brooks. I don't know why I haven't taught any of his songs yet. I'll have to remember to do that. If you could post a comment. See, the comments that I'm reading now are only viewable, I think, during the live broadcast. So if you could post that underneath one of my other videos or send me an email, then I'll be sure to add that to my list. And by the way, for those of you who are requesting songs that I teach, my list of songs that I want to teach is like 4 pages long now. So not complaining, a lot of great songs in this world, but just know that from the time that you request a song to the time that I actually can film it and upload it, and it may be a little while. So just be patient. Misty says, does the ability to strum faster just come with time and practice? Yes, it's all about the practice. I wish there was a magic pill. And I know how frustrating it is. You know, you feel like you're just playing the same thing at the same speed forever. But it really does get better. It's just that you hear yourself play all the time. And sometimes it's harder to hear progress that way. One of my suggestions is that when you are first learning a strum pattern or a picking pattern, is to record yourself. And I'm not saying, you know, play, you know, a perfect version of Blackbird or whatever song you're working on, you know, Leaving on a Jet Plane. But play it as slowly as you need to and record it. A month later, listen to that. And I'll bet that if you're practicing regularly and if you maintain a good attitude, you'll be able to see some progress. Or if there's someone in your family or a friend that, you know, will be honest and give you supportive feedback, then play for them. You say, okay, you know, here's what I'm working on. What do you think? And then 2 weeks later, maybe play it for them again after regular practice, of course, and you'll be able to see some progress. Any tips? I find I tend to use my elbow more versus my wrist. Yeah, that's something that you have to watch out for. Now, when I strum, and I'm going to grab a flat pick to show you what I'm talking about. So when I strum, I rest my arm right here so that my elbow is moving, but that's not the main part of the strum. A lot of it comes from my wrist, but it's a relaxed wrist. If you're doing this, that's too much. Try to limit it. There's no reason to work that hard. Try to keep it close to the string. Relax. Have good posture. Now I'm playing a steel string dreadnought. It's pretty big. And if you're playing a different kind of guitar, a smaller guitar, or if you're playing a classical guitar, an electric, your arm may not rest the same way that mine is, but however you do it, it should feel pretty relaxed, and you shouldn't feel any pain when you're practicing. So let me put these back so that I can go back to your questions. Ramesh from India, love your channel. Well, thank you, Ramesh. I appreciate that. Greetings from Ireland. My goodness, you are all from all over. This is cool. And Tom says, how do you know which string to pluck in any given song? Well, it's a little like learning a strum pattern. You learn the pattern. And for a lot of songs, you'll do a full measure or maybe 2 measures before you change chords. So don't feel like you have to change chords in the middle of a picking pattern. And if you're not sure, then go to one of the lessons that I teach here on my channel. I recommend the one where I teach Leaving on a Jet Plane or Amazing Grace. And you can see where I change the chords. Now, sometimes singing and finger picking something at the same time initially is a bad idea, because you want to get it really solidly into your hands before you try to sing, because sometimes singing it can throw everything off. So with your timing, you want nice, even picking pattern, and you want to make sure you're getting in a full measure or 2 measures. Some songs, there'll be half measures, so there's other things down the line. But for now, just keep it simple. And does each chord have a different bass note? Yeah, there's a lot of different bass notes. And I covered some of them when I was demonstrating. The handout, the finger picking handout, if you can download that, has several different chords. So for an A chord, the bass note is the 5th string. C chord, it's the 5th string. D chord, it's the 4th string. E chord, it's the 6th string. F chord, if you're playing the 4-string version, is the 4th string. And then a G chord would be the 6th string. Now these are all open chords. I'm not, bar chords and power chords are a whole different animal, but for the open chords, that's what they are. So Deanne is another super fan. Thank you for the tip. I really appreciate that. John is tuning in from South Africa. Wow, that's very cool. South Africa, Ireland, US. Are there any Canadians here? Am I the only Canadian here? I might be. So John is tuned in from Kent in the UK. Hi, John. Nisala says, hello, Jamie. Thank you for the lessons. They are excellent. Can you please recommend a strumming pattern for Candle in the Wind? I am a huge fan of down, down, up, down, down, up. Now, like I said earlier, my memory stinks, so I have no idea what the chords are for this song. At least I think those are some of the notes from Candle in the Wind. So it would be down, down, up, down, down, up. That song's in 4/4, so it's down, down, up, down, down, up. If I had another device to look up the chords, I would, but try that. That strum pattern is one of my go-tos if I'm not sure what other strum pattern to use. And I do have 5 strums that will work for almost any song, and you'll find that on my channel. And I teach 5 different strum patterns, and apparently a lot of people have found it helpful because it's had something like 1.7 million views. That just blows my mind. 1.7. Some little Canadian guitar teacher has 1.7 million views. Okay. So Sandra says, so grateful for your channel. Thank you for all you do. Oh, thank you, Sandra. I really appreciate that. And I hope I'm not embarrassing Sandra by saying this, but Sandra is one of my Patreon supporters. And Patreon is another way that you can support me. I'll put a link underneath here. Patreon is this really cool service where you pay as little as $7.50 a month. And for that, you get some great benefits, like you get to see some of my videos before I post them on YouTube. And then I also have exclusive live streams. So you could have, a lesson with just other Patreon supporters. I did one of those not too long ago, I think 2 months ago maybe, and 6 people pretty much got a private lesson from me. So that's one of the benefits for joining Patreon. But again, like I said before, if you're just tuning in, that's very cool. If you don't have the dough to give me a tip, I'm fine with that. Wilhelmus says hi from Sweden. Hi. HR Pickin' Stuff is from California. Excellent. I love California. When the border opens, that's one of the places where I want to go. I love the beach. Chris Ponting says, great tutorials. I can now pick and sing Dust in the Wind. Yay! That's one of the lessons that I posted a little while back. Dust in the Wind is a Travis pick. So if you want to learn how to play that song, you can find it on my channel. And he can play it, or she, I don't know if Chris is a man or a woman. I can play with my eyes closed. That is impressive. That's actually a really good way to practice, because when you're first learning a picking pattern or a strumming pattern, you've got to look at your hands. Otherwise, you don't know what you're doing. But after you've been practicing for a little while, try it with your eyes closed, because then you're tuning into how it sounds, you're tuning into how it feels. And that's just as important to being able to see it. It also helps so that you can look at a piece of music or look at your audience when you're playing and not just stare at your hands. My strumming is not as good, too loud. How can I strum more quietly? Well, Chris, I think one of the things that you can try is strumming with your fingers instead of a pick. I don't know if you're using a pick. When I strum with my fingers, it's a much softer sound. So I strum down with my thumb and then up with my index finger. So if I was going to do that strumming pattern that I demonstrated a minute or so ago, down, down, up, down, down, up, and that'll give you a nice soft sound if that's what you're looking for. If you're using a pick, you might be dipping the pick in a little too deep. So make sure that it's just skimming over the top. Don't stick it in very far. And in addition to lowering the volume, it'll give you a much smoother sound. You could also look at the pick that you're using. It could be that you need a thinner pick. Sometimes a thinner pick will give you a softer sound. It could be that you're holding the pick in the wrong place. So make sure that you've got just a little bit sticking out. You can see that I'm not letting a whole lot stick out. So that might help you too. And also, as if I may throw another wrench in the works here, it could be the string gauge that you have. If you're using really heavy strings, you might want to put lighter gauge strings on your guitar, and that will give you a softer sound also. HR Pick and Stuff, I have trouble stopping when strumming. I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you're talking about rhythm, then you just need to practice that strum pattern over and over again. Try it on just one chord. Sometimes if you're focusing just on your strumming hand rather than playing a whole song, sometimes that can help you fine-tune the strum. And if you're not sure, again, go to one of my videos where I'm teaching a strum and play along with me, and that'll help you even out your strum a little bit and maybe get some of those stops in. Greetings from Turkey. Wow, Turkey, that's awesome. Getting golden tips about country music over your videos. Thank you, Mrs. Anderson. Well, I really appreciate that. I do love country music. I play all kinds of music, but country is near and dear to my heart for sure. James, same question as Chris. Okay, I hope I answered that. Somebody's from Hamilton, a Canadian, yay! I don't feel quite as alone now. Aya, hi, I'm from Jordan. You're so great. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm a beginner playing acoustic guitar. Do you have any advice for switching chords faster and strumming with rhythm? I get that question a lot from beginners because it does seem like it's an awful lot to do in the beginning. To change chords faster, it's all about the practice, and I know I sound like a broken record saying that, but choose two chords and play them back and forth a lot. Like I keep going back to G and then C, but if you play G, then go to C, G, and just play them again and again and again. Don't try to play a whole song. When you feel like you can get that down, then try a strum pattern. like there's, you know, an hour between chord changes. Believe me, I remember what that was like. If you just do it over and over again, that's really going to benefit you. So again, don't try to play a song, just change 2 chords back and forth, and you'll find that it starts to speed up a little bit. Don't try bar chords at this point, or power chords, or anything that's going to involve a whole lot of concentration. Choose the easiest chords that you know. Sometimes it helps to choose chords that have 1 finger in common. So for instance, an A minor is here, and then if you take this 3rd finger and extend it here, then you've got a C. So 2 chords where you're only moving 1 finger like that, it's going to be a lot easier to change back and forth. And that way you'll feel successful, right? Hey, I can change A minor to C, yay! And I do have a video where I address changing chords faster and changing chords without stopping. And so again, if you use the search function at my the top of my list of videos at my YouTube main channel page, boy, that's a mouthful, then you like enter change chords faster. You know, there's a lot of search terms that you can use, and you'll be able to find something like that that will help you. Just know that changing chords quickly is one of the biggest issues facing beginners, because you've got a lot of things to change, a lot of movement, and these are things that we don't do in everyday life, right? You know, you don't walk down the street doing this. So it does take a little while. Rich Bell wants to know, any tips on non-slipping picks? Well, these things are small, right? And they can slide around. One of the ways that I keep my picks from sliding is that I really like picks that have sort of a grip. And I don't know if you can see that, but see the raised lettering says Jim Dunlop. And that is a little bit of a grip. And that helps so that it doesn't slide around quite so much. Sometimes it helps to practice with a really firm grip, but not so firm that your fingertips are turning white. They also make a product that makes the pick a little stickier, and I don't know what it's called. I don't use it, but you can try something like that. You might be dipping the pick in a little too deep in the strings. See if you can pull it out a little bit and make the pick glide over the strings, because sometimes if you dig it in too deep, that'll give you so much resistance that it'll slide around. So Rich Bell. Oh, Rich is also one of my Patreon supporters. I'm glad that you're here. And he says the Zoom lesson was great. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, the Patreon lesson that I taught was actually on Skype, but it was set up like Zoom. And the reason it's better than something like this, I mean, I enjoy teaching these live stream lessons on YouTube, but I can't see any of you. I can't see you play. But on Skype, I can see you play, and I can give you individual instruction, which makes it a little easier for me. Alan says, I find Dunlop jazz grips are easier to hold with a ribbed pattern. Yeah, I wasn't using that particular brand, but I was using the Jim Dunlops. You know, I talk about Jim Dunlop picks all the time. I wish they'd sponsor me. Oh well, what can you do, right? Margaret Brown, I'm from Ireland, but my sister is on Vancouver Island. Such a beautiful place. Oh yeah, I love Vancouver and Vancouver Island. Kamala says, thanks so much. James says, thank you for your answer. You're very welcome. Gary, hey Jamie, can you give me the strumming pattern for Okie from Muskogee? You know, again, down, down, up, down, down, up. I'm proud to be an Okie from Muskogee, place where even squares can have them all. How about that? I remember the first part of that song, even without the lyric sheets in front of me. So down, down, up fits really well for that one. And it's a country song, so you knew that I would at least know part of it, right? Let's see. Joanne says, hey, hello. Oh, Alan says Picker's Grip is the stick product. Thank you. Yes, Picker's Grip. If you want to try a product that helps your fingers stick. Also, I just thought of one more thing. If your hands sweat when you play, a little bit of powder will sometimes fix that. So you might want to try that, or just stop playing for a minute and wipe off your hands and then try again. Pick grip double-sided Scotch tape. I don't know, that sounds pretty extreme. Scotch tape, I don't know. You use tape for a lot of things. Why not holding your pick on? Do not use super glue. Okay, y'all are smarter than that, right? All right, Lady Skellington. Hey Jamie, just want to say thank you for doing these videos. I'm self-taught with your help. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I hear from a lot of viewers who are pretty excited about learning a song. And I especially love the ones where they say, I never thought I'd be able to play that chord until I found your lesson or that song or, whatever it is. So I really appreciate your comments. And I do read every comment for every video that I post. And I've had a few other YouTubers tell me I'm crazy, that's a lot of work. And it is a lot of work, but my viewers are really important to me. So I read them all. I try to respond to the ones that I can, except for the ones that say hot girls here. I delete those right away. It's amazing how quickly those weirdos can find me. But fortunately, I don't have to deal with too many of them. Jeffrey Davis says electric or acoustic for a beginner. Well, Jeffrey, it depends on what kind of music you want to play. If you're a rocker, if you're into modern country, if you're into electric blues, then you want an electric guitar. And it sometimes involves a little more of an investment because you have to buy an amp also. But electrics are really fun to play. And sometimes the action can be really good on an electric guitar, which is important for a beginner because when you're just learning to play, pressing down those strings, you feel like you need the strength of a ninja. And with a lot of electric guitars, you don't have to press down quite as hard. The only thing about electric guitars is that they're pretty heavy. So if you've got shoulder issues or if your strength isn't so good, you need to play them sitting down, which, if you want to do like a cool rocking out thing and stand up and wear your guitar down where Kurt Cobain wore his, then, it's going to be a problem. Acoustic guitars are very versatile. A lot of people think that with an acoustic guitar you can't play rock, which is, definitely not true. I prove that right now. I don't know, I think I'm rocking out. What do you think? Anyway, so if you want to play classical, folk, flamenco, then a nylon string guitar is a good idea. And sometimes those can be a little easier on your hands, although the necks on classical guitars are usually a little wider and some beginners have a problem with that. Of course, I just listed all those styles you can play on a nylon string guitar. And you know what? Willie Nelson plays a nylon string guitar and he plays all kinds of stuff on his. So don't feel limited by the style. I think for beginners, it's more important to get a guitar that fits you. So I always recommend going to a brick and mortar store and playing all the guitars that are there. Even if you don't know how to play, have one of the clerks help you. It's not that you can't order from online, but I'm kind of a fan of being able to play an instrument before I buy it and to see how it fits. And if you have a smaller stature or smaller hands, then you might want to look at a 3/4 size guitar or one of the travel guitars that are offered out there. Polkit says, I love how easily you sing and teach songs. Your voice is like a nightingale. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Leonel says, just a simple question. Since when did you learn to play a guitar? I taught myself to play the guitar when I was 15. And I'm in my 60s now, so you can do the math. It was a long time ago. My dad was a musician, and so there were guitars laying around the house. He didn't teach me to play. He didn't have the patience to do that, but I just borrowed one of his guitars and never gave it back to him. In fact, it's right here in my music studio hanging on the wall. It's not playable anymore, but So yeah, I think, again, I think that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy teaching beginners and intermediate players, because I remember what it was like to sit down with a guitar and think, how the heck do I play a D chord? You know, I remember that. And I also remember the joy of finally mastering those chords and being able to play the songs that I love so much. Serge says, hi, you are so good, like teacher from New Jersey. Excellent. Welcome from New Jersey. Gary says, thanks, you're awesome. Well, thank you, Gary. Padam, hi from Austria. Excellent. Thank you. Could you demonstrate the Carter scratch slowly in another video, or how to play a melody riff in Ring of Fire at the beginning while you're strumming? You know, I've been meaning to teach the Carter scratch for a while, and I haven't done it yet. The Carter scratch is something that was invented by Maybelle Carter, who was part of the very famous Carter family. Let's see if I can remember. Okay, so that was a very slow, poor version of Wildwood Flower, but that's an example of a Carter scratch. And so it's a way of playing the melody while you're strumming, and maybe I'll make a video for that. Thank you for that request. If you can think of it, email me with that request, and that way it'll officially make it onto my list of videos to make, because I don't always have access to the comments on a live stream after the live stream is done, so I might forget. But yeah, that would be a very cool thing for me to teach, and a lot of fun for many of you to learn. Soul Vaccination says, you're the best. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So I think I mentioned earlier that you can give me a tip via PayPal, and the link is above or below this video. I'm not sure where YouTube puts it. You can also buy me a coffee at coffee.com, and that's only $3, or you can make it more. You can also support me on Patreon, and I'll try to remember to put a link to that underneath here. I've got a few Patreon supporters right here at this live stream, which I really appreciate. And again, if you don't have the dough to contribute, that's all right. I'm just happy that you tune in, and that means a lot to me also. So, all right. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Don't forget that there is a handout for the finger picking patterns. And again, I will put a link underneath this video after I post it to YouTube, and it'll be on my channel, available for however long. So, and all the songs that I played during this lesson will also be posted there. So thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it very, very much. And love to you from Canada. Be well, keep playing. Bye-bye.